In today's video, I am going to be breaking down Reggie Miller and what made him such a deadly basketball player in the NBA. If you're looking to improve your game and score a ton of points, these are the skills and tactics that you're going to need to implement into your game so that you can be an unstoppable player just like Reggie Miller. Let's get down, let's check him out because he's absolutely amazing. Okay, so first we're going to be looking in this bottom right corner. Reggie Miller uses that pin down screen and then cuts towards the rim because of what his defender was doing. He then uses the re-screen to pop for that three-point shot. This is actually a really good play, but it's all because of his off-ball movement. So when he's using this pin down screen, his man is going over top of that screen, which means that he needs to cut in towards the basket. This could be a lob or a nice pass to him, depending on what this defender does. When he does start cutting, that defender who's hedging drops off to try to cut off that pass. This player here is smart enough to recognize that and sets a secondary screen for Reggie Miller to pop back out. This is all because he knew how to read the play and read the defense so that he can pop out for that three-point shot. A good way to play basketball is to always hunt down screens. This is a pin down or a staggered pin down screen away to the corner for Reggie Miller. He then cuts towards the basket. He wasn't open, and then he uses that re-screen for that three-point or that mid-range shot. It's all about moving off ball. So here we do have that double screen, that staggered screen. It didn't work. He cut down because his man was coming over top of that screen once again. The hedge man laid off, which means that that pass was not there to be able to make. Instead of Reggie Miller just staying in the low post and just sulking or doing whatever, he waited for this opposite side player to set that pin down for him so that he can come off of that pin down for that mid-range shot. Now, of course, it does help when you've got players who are willing to screen for you to get you open. This is the same style offense as we see with Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors as well, always trying to hunt down screens for the best player. Now here we're going to have a very similar play to what I like to run, which is instead of a pin down screen, it actually gives multiple options for Reggie Miller. So in this play, we first start with Reggie Miller getting that low post screen, and then on this side, we really want to look at what these two players are doing. They're setting up for an elevator screen. However, Reggie Miller is able to notice that there's a few defenders who could be cheating on this play. So, because we set up a secondary option, which then allows that pin down screen for Reggie Miller, always looking for multiple options in your offense is key. So if we look down into the low post, this is Reggie Miller right here. And here he looks to cut across. And this is actually an old school way of kind of defending a screen, and that is just by absolutely rocking the player who basically is using the screen. And because that defender rocked him, that then cuts off the ability for this player to actually screen. He can't do it. So that then has Reggie Miller turn back around. Good thing that he's got a good center who knows how to re-screen, so that now he uses that re-screen and he can jack that three-point shot. Anytime that a defender basically cuts off your ability to run a play, you need to figure out how to do something, because if he continued through, we can see right here that his defender here, over here, was already cheating through. He's out of position if Reggie Miller was to cut back. And by reading your defenders, by reading and seeing what your defenders are doing, you can get yourself open even though it's against what the play call really was. Here we have Reggie Miller once again in the low post. Again, reading his defender. Watch what his defender does. He pushes his defender onto that side of the screen, and then he weaves out away from his defender. That then gets him into the ability to be able to attack back into the direction his defender was coming from. So now, because if we go back a bit and we see that that defender is going underneath that screen, Reggie Miller is looking. We can see that the way his head is turned right here. Because of that, he wants to pop out here and not here. If he was to pop out here, that would have been very easy for his defender to get to him. By popping out here, that's created this much more space for that defender to get to him. And because of that, that then has his defender sprinting out. We can see that if we rewind right here, he catches that ball, really good footwork to get his right foot as a pivot foot, and his defender is sprinting out to try to block or at least contest that shot. He then basically looks at the rim, 0 or negative step, and then goes back in the opposite direction as his defender is going. Because the momentum is taking his defender in this direction, you want to go against that so that that defender cannot keep up with you. And of course, this is a running jumper, but it's still a very good strategy that you can use as well. Okay, so here we see Reggie Miller using a pin down screen once again, and he's popping up. At this point, he's kind of with his peripheral seeing what the defenders are doing, but also looking at trying to receive that ball. Obviously, you don't want to get ahead of yourself. When he catches that ball, he plants his left foot first so that he can pivot out. That way, when he gets that, he can step into it by going left foot and then into the right foot, which will allow him to establish, technically speaking, even though, yes, at the FIBA level, this would be a travel if the referees can catch it in time. However, that allows his right foot to be essentially the pivot, and he's able to then take that dribble forward and essentially have the ability to have that negative step to push him towards that mid-range shot. Mid-range shots are obviously very important. And now we have a staggered pin down once again, but here, watch how his footwork is. He goes right foot, and then when he catches it, he's in the air so that he can pivot left foot so that he can turn his right foot and pivot his right foot around so that he can get his right arm in line with the basket, kicks his right leg out so that he can make sure that it's a straight shot. This is what made Reggie Miller an unstoppable, deadly basketball player. I hope that this video has helped you. If it has, hit that like button, subscribe. If you want me to break down your basketball shooting form, make sure to check out the link in the description below.